Hello, this is Dylan Miller on Daily Dose Dylan, Google Podcast, Spotify, Spreaker, or iHeartRadio. This is Dylan Miller on Daily Dose Dylan. Alright, so I am back for one day, unfortunately. I apologize for the break yet again, but you've heard the explanation thousands of times. School and now work is actually another thing getting in the way. But like I said, whenever I get the chance to do it, I'm going to get on the podcast. Unfortunately, this winter break kind of got away from me. I got a little sick a few days ago. I had to rest a few days. And as far as the other days, I wish I could say I had a reason, but I really just kind of the long story short, the week got away from me. So I guess we should just jump right into things, right? So I'm gonna start by talking about Lamar Jackson. Everyone seems to be in agreement. He's the MVP this year. It'll be his second MVP of the year, and what's it called? MVP of his career. Sorry, I think I said year. But here's the thing. I really think it should be more than a quarterback award, because I do feel like for a majority of the season, CMC has had a more impressive year. So if it were up to me, he would be it, because I don't think the Niners... I love Brock Purdy. I really do. I think he's a great story. But I don't... The Niners are not the same without him. And that's not to say that the Ravens aren't the same without Lamar. It's just, if you compare Lamar's MVP stats to his stats this year, they're not the same. They're not even close to the same. But I mean, if you're really looking for every reason to give it to a quarterback, Lamar is the most reasonable one. So if he gets it, I won't complain. But I just think we gotta start considering other positions here. All right, let's shift to something more positive where I'm not bashing great performances. I should admit, and Lamar Jackson, 5 touchdowns, only 3 incompletions, incredible. Completely dismantled the Dolphins' defense, and honestly, the last 2 weeks, he's shown up when it matters most. Beating the Niners, huge statement. So, not trying to diminish Lamar Jackson. He's a great quarterback. He wins like 80% of his games. And he is deserving of the MVP. I just think there are other players that could be considered, like CMC or even Tyreek Hill, because the offensive years they're having are impressive, to say the least. But anyway, let's shift to a more positive note. Jordan Love and the Packers. They are currently in the last playoff spot, very similar to where we were last year. Which I think I may have said on air, but I don't know. I lost track because I haven't been on air since August, so, haven't remembered much from what I said then. Also, fall break got away from me. I should mention that as well. Over fall break, it also got away from me. Same with this last week. I think I'm just so relieved to get off of school that I just forget to get on the podcast. But anyway, Jordan Love, he's been very impressive the last few weeks. And I have really been optimistic about Jordan Love for the majority. I think a lot of Packers fans have kind of lost patience with him for a bit. And I started to have some doubts because the performances he was putting on back in October, not very promising. But the last few weeks, it's been very promising. It's been he's had a very impressive few weeks. We're now in a playoff spot where we probably, it's very similar to last year. It's just, I think this time it's a better fit. Jordan Love with the young guys instead of Aaron Rodgers. And no knock on Rodgers, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's amazing, but it's just Jordan Love fits better with him. Rodgers was in a win now mode. He wasn't trying to be patient with the young guys like Jordan Love is. Jordan Love, he's in there with them. He's in the same spot as them. He's not. They're all learning there. With Rodgers, he's already learned all his stuff, and he wants to retire with more than one Super Bowl because he knows that's going to be one thing that diminishes his resume, only winning one in his third year. But Jordan Love, man, top 5 in touchdowns, top 10 in yards, 30 touchdowns, which is impressive for a first-year quarterback. That's another thing. I think a lot of people, they were acting like, yes, Jordan Love's in his, is it his third year or fourth year? Something like that. But that doesn't mean he's a third or fourth year quarterback because he played one game. He started one game. And it wasn't even planned. That was all out of nowhere. Aaron Rodgers got COVID. It was everything was rushed. They didn't have time to prepare him for that game. And obviously it was a rough performance, only 7 points. But people were treating him like he was in his third year as a starter. He wasn't. He was in his first. Sorry. He was in his first year as a starter. And no matter how long he's been a backup, you can't treat him, like he's in the same position as Burrow or Mahomes that they were in their third year. But the Packers, they have a chance of making the playoffs, which I honestly, to me, even as a Packers fan, that's kind of a pleasant surprise. I thought this would be, I didn't think we'd be bad. I thought we'd be middle of the road, maybe 7-10 or something, maybe 8-9, which is still a possibility. 8-9 is still a possibility, but I didn't think we'd be contending for a playoff spot, even in the NFC. But I'm not going to complain. We're definitely weak on defense. But we always have been, to be honest with you, even with Aaron Rodgers. It's just Jordan Love isn't there yet where he's so good, he masks the problem that is our defense. Aaron Rodgers, he was that good. He could, he made that offense so good, our defense really didn't matter. We were winning games. So very few people realized how bad our defense really was during that time. But right now Jordan Love's not there, so everyone knows how bad our defense is, and I know everyone's calling on the Packers to fire Joe Barry, I think. Just wait till the end of the year, I was not a big fan when they fired McCarthy mid-season. I thought that was stupid, because we weren't eliminated at that point yet. So we still had a purpose. But, whatever. Not my team. But they've always had a solid offense. They've kept it going. And it's looking like we're on our third great quarterback in a row. Don't want to jinx it, though. But, Love, he's a great fit. You look at him versus Aaron Rodgers in their first year. He already has a better record. Aaron Rodgers went 6-10. Jordan Love, the season ended at 16 games like I used to. He would be 8-8. Rodgers, their completion percentage is nearly identical. 63.6 for Rodgers, 63.1 for Love. Love has more touchdowns and less picks. 30 touchdowns to Rodgers 28. 11 picks to Rodgers 13 his first year. And they had the same passer rating at 93.8. So, Love, I'm satisfied with this year for him. I think it's been an incredible first year, and I think they have a great receiving core that we're going to build on. And we have a great 1-2 punch in the backfield too. A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones. I think this is a future great team. All right, so there was a controversy on the Lions' 2-point attempt. To be honest with you, I was working this night. I did not see it live. But, of course, I'm going to look at some replays of it. Listen, I don't disagree that they got screwed, but I do think you have to adapt in that situation. I think people complain about the refs a lot, but that's going to happen, so you gotta be able to adjust to that situation. I think when your 2-point conversion, your trick play fails, just settle for the, extra point, and go to overtime. Don't go for another 2-point conversion, which was risky to begin with, to be honest with you. That late in the game. And it worked initially, to their credit. But I think in that situation where you did your trick play, it didn't work, the refs called it back, just take it, go for the extra point. Don't try anything else, because that was, I think if the 2-point conversion was going to work, that would have been it. That was the only way they were going to make it work that late in the game. But, and I like Dan Campbell. I do. I like the Lions, even as a Packers fan. But I just don't see them going that far in the playoffs. I think it's them and the Cowboys, honestly. I don't see them going to the NFC Championship. I think they're both second-round exits. Just because I don't trust them late in games. I mean, the Dolphins lose to good teams. That's been a trend. They beat the Cowboys late in the game. And the Dolphins, I don't think they've lost to every good team they've played.